What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and we found a winner. Now, I know a lot of people say that I say this every time, that it's the new best gun or whatever the case may be. And the reason for that is I try a lot of different handguns. I have a lot of buddies with a bunch of different handguns, so I get exposed to stuff I'd potentially never even pick up. But the second I heard about this release, I knew this is something I wanted to get. I've always looked at the 4-inch Shield Pluses and just never pulled the trigger on the actual purchase. But the fact that they released the M&P 9 Shield Plus carry comp, I mean, this is a game changer. And we're going to discuss this versus the original Shield Plus, this versus the Performance Center 4-inch, and so on. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. This will be the longest barrel in my carry rotation other than the Glock 48. Typically, I like smaller, more comfortable stuff, but if you get the right holster with the right cant, this thing is very, very manageable. Now, I've only put maybe 50 to 100 rounds through it. A buddy of mine actually put more rounds through it, and this thing has been flawless. Also, a buddy of mine got the 4-inch Performance Center. He shot them back to back. This, $200 cheaper than the Performance Center, not even close. This outperforms the 4-inch Performance Center, and we were so confused why. We had no idea why that would be, why Smith & Wesson would still sell the 4-inch. I believe the local gun store gets the 4-inch Performance Center for $650. This is being sold for around $650. So in order for the gun store to make money, they're selling it at about $800 for the Performance Center. This shoots better. Let's get into it. This thing right here is cleared in safety check. And I'm telling you, this is an absolute shooter. And what's nice about this handgun, it's so versatile. 10+1 in this setup, right? So you're still getting a very small, typical shield size setup. But, of course, you can go to the 13-round mag. This is how a lot of people prefer to carry it. You know, it's a little bit longer, a little shorter than a 43X or 48 in this length. But you're getting 13+1 with OEM mags. But you can make this basically a compact size with that 4-inch barrel and having 15+1 capacity, and it fills your hand completely. Absolutely love this. Absolutely unreal. Now, the way I'd carry it is just like this. It is completely shootable with 2 fingers on it, and it's going to be very comfortable. They did such good work on this. They listened. That's something I always talk down on Glock for. You guys never mention when I talk down on Glock, only when I talk down on SIG. Glock has failed over and over again to provide simple things. I'm not talking about changing a design completely. Something I found very interesting is, as you can see, there's texturing on the whole frame. Now this part and this part, it's not the most aggressive, but you realize there's this little texturing throughout the whole entire handgun, which basically everywhere your hand touches, it's going to help that much more with traction and holding onto that firearm and dealing and managing with recoil, which is actually really, really nice. Then you come down here and you have more aggressive texturing. But you see that? There's literally texturing on everything. It's absolutely amazing. Now, in terms of serrations, I don't really care about serrations, but these make the handgun look absolutely awesome. So in this case, I'm all for it. Looks super cool, looks super nice. And once again, Glock could change it up. You know, think about Glock for a second. If they made, actually, I want to touch on something first before we get into it. Next, the comp. On a bunch of other comp firearms, they have the ports. They have the ports in front of the sights, so you get a blacked out sight. If you have fiber optics, it'll melt your fiber optics after 100 rounds. This was made perfectly. Sorry guys, bumped my camera. These are made perfectly. You have the comp after, just like the Hellcat Comp Pro, which I would consider basically very similar to this handgun in shootability as well as how they did the comp. Absolutely awesome. Check that out. And then you have night vision sights. Beautiful, beautiful sights. You have a little U-notch rear that's textured and blacked out, how I like it in the, on carry handguns, with that nice green front outline that is tritium. So these are night sights. And like I said, these go for like $650. Absolutely unreal package. Now, what I was going to mention is, my buddy and I were talking about it. Imagine if Glock made the 48, which is a port like that. Just cut the hole. That's what we were saying. We were literally joking around, just saying, cut it. Just do it. It's not hard, Glock. It's really not. Just do it. Your 48 will run flawlessly still. just do it. Charge us an extra 100, charge us an extra 50, whatever. Just, it's, the cost is not terrible to make something like this. It's really not. Then on top of that, imagine a Glock. Just angle your serrations. People would lose their mind over the smallest changes. But instead, that is why Glock falls behind in people's minds. Now, I still go to Glock. It's my main carry, reliable as can be. But as you can see, companies like this are just making them look sort of foolish. I'm just being honest. They're making them look foolish. Top of that, you got nice little lightning cuts right there, which keep the weight down. This thing is a very, even though it's a 4-inch, it feels very even. It feels, especially when it's loaded, it feels very comfortable. It feels right. And the recoil is so minimal. I mean, when you compare it to I actually shot it back to back with the 30 Super Carry Shield, not even comparable. This thing handles really, really well. Absolutely love this thing. Now, like I said, 3 mags, optics ready. You can't really beat the value of this handgun. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, $650, that's a little too much. And I get it. Nowadays, stuff is expensive. Inflation is crazy. Wages are lower. It just is what it is. But if you can afford a $400 gun, if you can afford a $500 gun, you can afford a $650 gun. You just have to save up a couple more months. You just have to work a little bit more overtime. It's simple. People always get on me for like saying where I live and stuff like that. I live in a normal area. I just bust my butt and work really hard to get to where I'm at and allow my family to have a good life. It's simple. Get a side job. Work 5 to 10 hours per week extra somewhere, like 1 shift, 2 shifts. Pick it up. Make that your firearm fund. Especially if you don't have kids, it makes it really easy to spend your time working hard to get to where you want to move or purchase a nice handgun, whatever the case may be. But this right here is definitely the #1 release of 2024, and I do not see a single release that will outdo this unless Walther or CZ comes out with their Micro 9. Those are the only 2 competitors I could see potentially making a better handgun than this right here. That's the only 2. But for right now, this is hands down, 100% the best concealed carry handgun on the market. Now let's check out that trigger. It's a Shield Plus trigger, but it's almost a little lighter. Reset's the same, but it's just a really, really nice handgun. It is the total package. You're getting, even though it's ported, you're getting less velocity and stuff like that. You're getting a longer barrel for better accuracy, and the sight radius it's just a little bit longer than the Shield Plus itself, the 3.1 inch, right? While still having that ports. So you still get the best of both worlds with this handgun. The only thing though is it is less comfortable to carry than the 3.1 inch, but it does have a bunch of benefits. And a lot of times with a larger handgun like this, I'll carry it at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or even sometimes outside the waistband, but always concealed. I never open carry unless I'm going to the range or, you know, up north or in the woods or whatever the case may be. But I'm telling you guys, this combo right here is the way to go. 14 rounds, 13 plus 1 in the head. Unbelievable. And what we were saying about the whole series, the whole new carry comp series, is they're all optics ready. What's nice about it is you don't even need an optic. These things are effortless to shoot. These sights are great. They're bright. They're accurate. And this thing naturally just comes back to where it needs to be. It always comes back. It's crazy. It's sort of like, it's not as good as the Walthers I was shooting, whereas the Walthers always drop back on target. They're literally perfect. But this does a really, really good job at it. Just want to say shout out to Daniel Hegg. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Really appreciate it. Go pick one up. At the end of the videos, I like to just show it off a little bit because people say I move too much. So I try to keep it still. Let you guys get a good idea of what this thing looks like. And yeah, thanks for watching.